Hello guys, UnoPro here, back with my first live S-Rank ranked gameplay. It's been quite a while, a bunch of reasons. I have been putting out some other videos, but good to be back. Today we're going to be playing some aggro Lyonar. Now a lot of you know me primarily as a Songhai player, but last season I played a ton of Lyonar almost exclusively for a lot of the season, a little bit of Songhai and Vitruvian thrown in, but lots and lots of Lyonar, got high into S-Rank. All that kind of thing, because I really like the deck. I think it's positioned very well, lots of aggro in meta, and I love to be that player punishing the aggro. And I also feel like it has very well-rounded matchups. If you're better than your average opponent, well, you have a deck that can beat most decks. Doesn't really have any horrible matchups. So let's go quickly over the deck. This is my own iterations of the deck. Lots of different ways. I've recently made a couple of changes, got a little bit more late game, just medicals and tinkering, but you can definitely take a lot of these cards as a base. Now, the 2-drops, 3/0 lines are basically a must in any RGN deck, very, very strong with that Bloodborne spell. 3 Divine Bonds, we are aggressive, we need a great finisher, not a lot to say there. 3 Primus Fist, probably the best neutral 2-drop at the moment, and is also the most aggressive, so that's why we're playing that. 2 Tempest, really good against Swarm, decent against the more aggressive decks and allows us to play more controlly, and all our 2-drops will survive it. And then of course the 3 Linklater Depths. Okay, coming into the 3-drop spot, we have, these cards aren't really 3-drops, very rarely will you play them on 3 mana. Repulsive Beast, great form of temporary removal, allows us to play a very tempo based game, deal with big threats. We don't want to play Martyrdom in this deck, we don't want to heal our opponents, so this is our answer to big minions. 3 Saberspine Tiger, pretty self-explanatory, 3 Silverguard Knight of course, and then 2 Wings of Paradise. Still not sold on this card, but I wanted to have at least one more card that we want to be playing on 3 mana, and so that's why I have it. I might change it for something else, but if I was, it would probably be a tech card, or moving it a little bit more late game. 3 Arclight Regalia. I see some people still saying to run 2. I personally think that it's a mistake not to run 3. In a majority of Lyonar decks, this card is so strong and allows it to be a primary win condition in matchups like Kara, Lyonar, and some variations of Control Magma. This card is so good. Having 3 allows you to stack 2, and I often don't mind keeping 1 in hand if I already have a lot of minions. Very strong card, and gives you that ultimate win condition than rushing down your opponent. Dialysis, very strong card once again. That Dying Wish works very well with Divine Bond. And just a very high value body in general. Definitely want to run 3 of these. 3 Holy Immolations, of course, 3 Ironcliff Guardians of course, and the last 2 cards is a card I'm actually trying out. I haven't really got a chance to fully test this card, but Elixir Stormblade, decent stats for the body, provoke, and the effect can be relevant as well. Definitely something we're going to try out and see how it goes. Now we will get into game. Of course the ladder has just reset, so I'm only rank 10, I've only had time for a few games. Quickly up to rank 10, so now the season will begin. I think, this season I'm going to try and bring you guys a large variety of decks. Trying out, different fun decks, lots of different factions, and so, I probably won't be in too much of a rush to rank up. So we are versing Yoko, couple of banners there. Definitely at this time of the month I would expect to be versing a lot of S-Rank players. Definitely getting Divine Bond and probably Holy Immolation. Though Arclight Regalia isn't great against Songhai. I think I actually don't want the Arclight Regalia. Yeah. It's a little bit too win more. Second Holy Immolation is a little bit clunky. Rhea is actually one of the worst matchups for this deck in my experience. If they're able to clear your board early, those 1/1s get so much value. If they run stuff like Deathstrike Seal, Killing Edge, it's very hard for you to deal with, especially without Martyrdoms. Okay, Tempest is a decent draw. Can be used to clean up their board a bit. The threat of me ramping into 5 mana is worth it. He can't really punish me by denying me a mana tile, and I don't really care if he wants this middle mana square. No need to play there, and he might have to answer it awkwardly if he wants to stop me ramping to 5 mana. I don't have a 5-drop in hand, but yeah, really no reason to play it on the mana tile in my opinion. Plus, if he's walking right into it if he doesn't. So yeah, definitely need to try and clear all these range minions. Thankfully our opponent didn't get a good start. We do need to be a little bit careful. Oh! I was going to worry about Land Fox, but it looks like it's a mech deck. Definitely something I was not expecting. That definitely makes me want to keep Divine Bond a little more. I don't think I will though. Okay, so we do have the option to go to 5 mana, go to 6 mana here, and clear off this. So we can buff, walk on, go up and attack it, and then play a dial. It seems pretty good. This isn't really a threat, but we might as well. So we'll do this. We'll do this. Clearing off the board is never too much of a bad thing. Unfortunately, we can't play this Dialytos too close to him, so we might as well play it in the center. Well, I think this is fine. Maybe it would have been better to diversify the threats. My thinking was I want to try and bait him into running on this back wall and try and get him trapped. Because there is potential that if he doesn't have a lot of removal, we can create a situation where we can stop him playing any minions, which will stop Mechazor. Now we're not running Sunbloom in this deck, so we don't actually have a clean answer to Mechazor, which is quite unfortunate. Anyway, I think we've seen that his hands are probably a little bit slower. We don't really want to Tempest. I don't think we're likely to have the better board. Okay. So the question here is Dialytus and Bloodborne spell or Ironcliff Guardian. Because we'll have our Bloodborne spell next turn, I don't think there's any rush to use it this turn. And it's not really generating anything for us this turn, so we will move up and just stick an Ironcliff Guardian in his face. Is there any reason to play it here? No, it's just weaker to Dancing Blades. Well, actually Lightbender, it's less, oh no, not really. Yeah, let's just stick it there, that's fine. More central, and we will move this up here. Okay. So now we've got him in the corner. Definitely a good position. That Repulsor Beast is actually a potentially decent draw. It's not a clean answer to Mechazor, but if we have a decent board and our opponent tries to drop one on us, we can Repulsor Beast into a situation where we can deal with it. This being inner focused. Okay, that's not too big a deal. He spent 3 cards on that just to deal with one of my minions, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now we can take it out with our general, which is perfectly fine. It will be interesting to see if he trades here. I wouldn't recommend it if I was him. It does leave him open to a Divine Bond. But on the same token, we can now run in here and Holy Immolation, which is definitely very strong. You know, attack him with everything. I think that's actually a pretty nice turn. Maybe we don't want... Okay, so he does attack. Okay. Fortunately, no Divine Bond to punish this. Definitely coming in here and attacking. Alright. He's at 60% Mechazor. I want to kind of speed up the game a little bit. Interesting. I think I want to give my Bloodborne spell. I definitely want to give it to this 0-10 just so it does something, I think. Though maybe not necessarily. Because if he's got an Onyx Bear Seal, he'll want to do that to this. I don't think that's a problem though. We'll be playing another Dialysis, which is probably a better target for it even. So let's buff up this. Stick it right in his face. Do this, and we can begin to trap him in. So yeah, I don't think the macro play of those turns was too hard. Pretty simple turn, but I want to really focus on positioning because that is a key thing. And when I'm making these educational videos, I see a lot of new players. You know, sure, they might make the right play. They have 5 mana and they drop their Ironcliff Guardian, but positioning is such a massive part of the game, and I truly believe that if you're really trying to win the game, say it's a tournament with 10k prize money, you should be roping every turn, apart from maybe the first or second turn. There's just that many possible options. Okay, so Dialotus will die. Even if he summons Mechazor this turn, it's not too big a problem. We're still at 24 health and can probably race a Mechazor. If not, just deal with it. Okay, so he attacks. We need to count our damage here. We have 6 on board. 10, 12. Not quite enough. Okay. Holy Immolation definitely looking very strong though. Okay, we don't need Arclight Regalia. Okay, once again, we're going to diversify our threats a bit. Well, so we can keep this alive. Maybe that's better just to keep that alive. So we can come in. We definitely want to hit with everything. Yeah, let's keep this alive. Because we have the 2 provokes going, it's actually, a decently relevant body. So we will Holy Immolation. And because I'm keeping it alive, I'm happy to buff it. Put it down to 3. And this game is looking pretty much over. It may have got interesting if you got a really fast Mechazor, but he wasn't really able to deal with our threats. We've had these Tombstones, and with 3 Divine Bonds on the deck, it was only a matter of time anyway. It doesn't look like we'll need it. I'm quite curious why he is playing Songhai for a Mechazor deck. I don't really think it's very good anymore. It may just be like he's doing quests, or maybe he's trying out new stuff for the patch. We don't really know. But anyway, that will be lethal. Okay, off to a good start. Good to be back, good to get our first win. And we'll see how we go. Aggro Lyonar is a very strong deck. And what I actually find quite interesting about the deck is that it's not, clear in a large majority of the games whether you're the aggro deck or the control deck. And you definitely have the tools to do both. Against the more aggressive decks like Fae, sometimes Xerix, you're definitely, the controlling deck, trying to drop those Ironcliffs, trying to win one of those late game cards. But a lot of times you can switch to the beatdown very fast. Alright, so that's enough discussion. Let's have a think. What do we want to do here? I definitely want Wingblade Adept, and I think I will keep a Primus Fist. I want to go double 2-drop. I don't think I want this. Tiger, there's not a lot of high value targets, especially not on turn 1. And we want something like a Vindicator. We want something like an Ironcliff Guardian. I think this is fine. Just want to curve out. This is actually not terrible. It can be good against Magmar. Just being able to have that extra space means we can play around, Egmorph a little bit better. Do we want the Divine Bond or do we want the Elix? There's a good chance we replace both, but not necessarily. So this works better with Dialotus, this works better against a long game plan. I don't think this is high enough impact even if it hits on turn 6. So we'll get rid of that. Okay, so now it's actually an interesting decision. Well, maybe not, because Dietide Frenzy got nerfed, so we don't need to worry about Frenzy that much. I think I'm going to play it like this. Well, if I have a 5 mana card in hand, I may consider playing even more safe, trying to get that ramp. But I think this is fine. What this does is, first of all, it protects our best minion on the board. And if he's going to use removal, he's not going to really want to use it on the 2-3 when there's a 4-3. But then suddenly he has the issue of me running up or down with this and playing a 5-mana card, probably Ironcliff Guardian. So I think this is a decent way to do it. Maybe a Blood Tier. Spirit Harvester? Could this be? Interesting, okay. That's definitely a little problematic, actually. Okay, I don't think we're in a position anymore where we can keep Divine Bond. That is an answer. But it is a bit mana inefficient. If we do get Egg Morphed on our Dialytus, well, is that worse? We're in the same position. Then we can just Tiger and maybe draw a 2-drop. You can't really do anything with the extra mana, apart from Hero Power. I think I actually kind of like just playing the Dialytus, moving this back even, and then Tiger the next turn. Okay, so yeah, definitely an interesting decision there. Definitely not clear cut at all. I'm choosing not to trade this in. I know this, I've said this is an aggro deck, but it's not always an aggro deck. We can play for board control sometimes. And you know, with our Bloodborne spell coming up the next turn, it's definitely possible that that body can be quite relevant. So we will take a guaranteed at least 1 more damage on the Dialytus, but that doesn't really matter. We don't need the 5-3 body, and getting out that 0-10 provoke is, you know, pretty good just by itself. And it actually sets up the trade for us, which is fortunate. Okay, so now the question is, do we want Holy Immolation? We definitely want to play these two. Well, you don't. Sometimes there's situations where you wouldn't just play a 2-drop like this. That's when you're getting a bit low on cards. We'll still have 3 cards. I think that's probably enough that we don't need to worry about conservative plays. We still want to out-tempo him. Alright. We will do it. We'll keep it. We'll keep this whole hand. So, outwatering is slightly important. Okay, fortunately Mercantil can't come out this turn. Trade that in before we move. Run down, and we'll just make use of our mana while we can. And attack him. Choosing to buff this is much better against the Frenzied Mercantil. Now, not Frenzied, sorry, all Mercantils are Frenzied, as you guys I'm sure are aware. Flash Reincarnation Mercantil, now it won't live as well. But he's only at 5 mana, so that's completely fine. Trade. Okay. That Divine Bond is a very, very good draw. And I believe that's probably lethal. That would be a 12 damage. Plus the Holy Immolation, yeah, that's definitely lethal. So we will Holy Immolation. And hit him in the face. Okay, so another pretty quick game. I definitely, thinking back, I definitely really like that Dialytus play. We didn't really get punished by that thing living another turn. Egg Morph, while annoying, wouldn't actually worsen the agenda, and it actually would have been basically him, you know, trading turn for turn. And that means next turn, suddenly we can play that Saber Spine Tiger that we would have played anyway, but now we get that tempo 2-drop that we were hoping for. So definitely happy with how that one turned out. It's always nice to clear your opponent's board, but sometimes you have to, you know, further your own game plan first. Okay, double Divine Bond is pretty clunky, and definitely way too greedy to keep against the Songhai deck. Pretty standard mulligan here. Second Wing Blade Adept is decent, but sometimes a little bit awkward. We often want to go 2/3, 2 mana and then 2 mana, 3 mana, or 2 mana into a 4 mana card. We don't have another 3-drop in hand, so this second Wing Blade Adept is a little bit annoying. But I think we just get rid of Archive Regalia, because if we draw another 2-drop, that can also be strong. And thankfully, if you remove this with a Phoenix Fire, 2-drop works without a minion on board. So if we drew another 2-drop or a 3-drop, we have a plan. We have 4-drop plan if the 2-drop lives, or if we get 2 drops, then we have a plan if it dies. So it's good to have maximum mana usage plans either way. Okay, so strong turn from him. Unfortunately, we don't have a strong 3-drop. Definitely going to get rid of Repulsor Beast. Teleportation effects like Repulsor Beast are never really good against Songhai, just because they'll teleport them right back. Unfortunately, no 3-drop drawn. Okay, now obviously we're playing Wingblade Adept this turn, and it's basically coming down to playing it on one of these or playing it on this or this. So it's this or this, this or this. Now, if we expect him to have a some kind of spell or damage that won't instantly kill, so he can try to win the general, and that matters. The only advantage playing it here is if we expect him to run backwards, which is not a real concern. I think with the mana tiles up, our ability to play Ironcliff Guardian next turn, we definitely just want to have all the options to try and ramp onto this mana. It's pretty hard for him to stop us, but if he runs back, sure, we can deal 4 damage to him, but we'll be more concerned with the threat of something like a 4 Winds Magi. This is perfectly fine. And if he also, having this position is perfectly fine in a defensive manner, which we are playing this matchup for the most part, because any minion he wants to play in my face will now be in range of this, and if he doesn't, then we just run away. So there's the Lantern Fox in a focus. Phoenix Fire would be annoying, but he doesn't have it by the looks of it. Yeah, I know he has 1 mana Vortex, but interesting. Okay, well that changes our play. Okay, Wings of Paradise, not looking too strong. Well, before we were going to be forced to just drop an Ironcliff on the Chakra Avatar, but here we can run in, kill the Lantern Fox, and then play an Arclight Regalia. Now he will have a Phoenix Fire in hand, which can help him deal with it, but he still needs some other source of damage, and he's running low on cards, so him sending a Phoenix Fire to my face is definitely not a bad thing. It's also, we need to examine the merits of just playing an Ironcliff Guardian this turn, which isn't looking too good. He has his teleport up next turn. He can buff a bunch of things. If he Onyx Bear Seals, that's looking bad for me. We definitely need to kill this card, so we will have to do it like this. Okay, so good things are that we're up a card on our opponent. We have an Arclight Regalia board, and we didn't take a tempo hit to play it, which can sometimes be pretty awkward against Songhai. But he does have a Phoenix Fire in hand. Songhai has decent ways to do it. If he goes 4 Winds Magi into Mana Vortex Phoenix Fire, that will clear it with a hit from the general, but that's not too bad. He's using resources just to hit me in the face, and that's perfectly fine when he's low on cards. He will need something else as well, another source of damage to break this Regalia, which we have another one, so we could even consider playing another one next turn. It's a little bit mana inefficient, so I'm not sure how keen I am on that. Okay, interesting. Okay, so choosing the Phoenix Fire, but not able to clear it off completely. Very interesting. What is the replace here? Maybe it's Dialtus. I actually don't see myself playing Dialtus this turn. So this is gone. So I could have Elkion to get the teleport. We can just play this here. Or we can try and deny the mana tile, but then his general gets away. But maybe he doesn't really get away. He needs to block, and I don't really care if he's blocking. Could just consider going for another Arclight Regalia. Does seem a little bit all in. Where is it hardest for him to teleport to? Okay. Let's just, get in his face. We don't want the game to be spread out against Songhai. We want it to be very compact. We want everything to be close together because that's when our minions shine, and where we can, it's harder for Songhai to get value and get around our provokes. Because Songhai can't really face us honestly in the long game, unless they have really good draws. So Onyx Bear Seal, and he can break the Arclight, but I'm actually pretty fine with that. It's still a tempo. I'm still going to be ahead on tempo for the most part. Looks like he might be choosing not to break it this turn, or maybe doing some kind of teleport maneuver. Heaven's Eclipse. Okay, choosing not to break that Regalia. Interesting decision. Okay. So we have this, and this. Well, we definitely want to hit here. We need to play the controlling game and protect our Regalia. But do we just protect it with another Regalia? Let's get rid of Divine Bond. We don't need Divine Bond. Elix, does that change anything? Probably not. I think we just want to develop more threats onto the board. And we don't want to let him get, head on tempo with just an Onyx Bear Seal and a threat. So let's go attack. Laser Slam. I think I actually like to give it to this. Well, yeah. This is just like a repeatable source of buffing, and he can't deal with it easily. So every turn, we can buff it if we need to, and have that source of damage limit, and hopefully get him to spend an extra spell on it. Plus, this way we're just diversifying our threats, which is very strong. When the cards that potentially can get the Songhai playback in are your Onyx Bear Seals basically. So it looks like we might get our Arclight Repoken here, but we haven't gone full in on the plan. And this is the reason why I didn't choose to play the second Arclight, is because, well, if he's breaking out Arclight, he's probably playing a bunch of spells, and having two isn't really going to save us. So that's fine. He is removing our board, but he's low on cards and starting to get lower on threats. Okay, let's get rid of Primus Fist. Alright, so I think we just want to drop the Elix right in his face. We've seen two Bear Seals already. Neither of them were recurred by Elkion, so I think that's perfectly fine. We could attack here, but we're not breaking the artifact anyway. We're just taking unnecessary damage in a game where we're probably only going to lose by damage. Now, the reason I played this here was because I don't want him to run away, even if he has the third Bear Seal. Could have also considered playing it here, but by playing it here, we're not actually playing around any provokes. So something like here maybe would be in the best place to play around, rush minions. But we're not really too worried about rush minions. He only has 3 cards in hand. And if he spends, rush minions to our face, we're probably just going to kill him. So definitely looking like a very strong position. Okay, so he's having to waste a spiral technique on our Elix just to survive. Choosing to run in to stay in range of the Pando, you know, which is understandable because he doesn't want to get blocked into the corner with, you know, 2 Pandas on the board. But very, very good position for us. Okay, I don't think we ever Tempesting here, unless it's lethal. 4, 6, 10. No, not even close. Double Divine Bond isn't great, but it does allow us to break the artifact if we want. I mean, if we just want to do this. So we're definitely regaling. Let's actually stop his movement. Do we break the artifact? I think we do. Or do we just do it with a Divine Bond actually? Yeah, let's do it with a Divine Bond. Well, no, it doesn't do it, does it? Unless you want to trade both Pandas in. Let's just Holy... Well... Let's just Holy Immolation. The Divine Bonds are awkward, but... You know, we actually can lethal him with our Pando. Holy Immolation is definitely the better card. But the Pandas are actually pretty valuable at the moment. If there was a way to clear without losing both Pandas, then I probably would definitely do it. Interesting. Thankfully, yeah, so that will be lethal. We do have to trade the Pando in first. Thankfully, it only has 2 attack, 2 health, sorry. So it will trade in, die on the counter attack, and we come in and hit him in the face for victory. So that was 3 for 3. Pretty good job by this Lyonar deck of, you know, beating aggro, which is what this deck is designed to beat. It can play some games against control. We did see that against Magmar. It's just the real strength of this deck is the ability to just switch gears so easily. You can beat the control deck in one matchup, you can beat the aggro, and once you have ball control, you're very good at keeping it. Argent is all about rewarding players who can have a minion stick. You've got your Bloodborne spell, you've got Holy Immolation, you've got Divine Bond, all these kinds of things make it really good. And then you can hit them with Arclight as well. That's an alternate win condition. So this deck is very, very strong. I definitely recommend trying out at least some variation. If you don't necessarily like my list, there's ways you can tinker around with it. You can maybe put some Sunblooms in there, especially if you're facing a lot of Amaya healers or, you know, Rejuvian in general. Elix Stormblade's definitely not a necessity, so if you're worried about that, definitely a lot of budget options. But, you know, Dilatus can be replaced by Primal Shieldmaster. Arclight Regalia, hard to replace, but not 100% necessary. Quite a cheap deck if you want it to be, and a very strong deck either way. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this live gameplay. I know it's been a while, but I'm definitely going to start putting more back out there. Anyway, if you want to see more, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.